Nick speaking, and welcome to this video right Necron learning curve, and now we're looking at Orikan the Divine. As previously stated, all I'm doing here is just sharing my learning experience with the Necron Codex, just passing any information that I have on to you. Now, I have to be honest, I've never used this character. He very nearly, he's almost on a back burner to make it into one of my lists, and that's the Catan shard list, where I have 3 Catans, which we'll come to in a minute. So yep, he's obviously a special character, so he's a fixed amount of points, has fixed stats. Some of those are pretty nice. In particular, has the ability to speed up your army, letting you, you can nominate one turn where you can re-roll your reserve rolls. Pretty decent, although I don't know Necrons necessarily need that, but it's an option. And he has the ability to slow down your opponent as well. So in their first turn, they're basically going to be moving as if in difficult terrain. And if they're already in difficult terrain, that will become dangerous terrain. So you can slow your opponent down as well, which again is quite a nice feature to have. He has an ability called The Stars Are Right, which effectively, as you play the game, you roll a d6 at the start of each of your turns, and then he has the chance to be empowered and take on a different profile, and that profile is very similar to a Catan. You could almost swap him out for a Catan model while he's in this higher state. Now sadly it doesn't last the whole of the game, he can revert back to normal. It's a bit of a fun thing. I just don't really know how fantastic that is going to be in gameplay. It's very random. Like I said, it could be fun to have, but my 3 Catan shard list is hard enough to play as it is. Throw in a random fun character into that list is going to make it really difficult to play. But it is on a back burner. I am going to play that that character in my Catan list at some point. He's got the Star for Tomorrow, which lets him re-roll in close combats, AP2, 3+ invulnerable save. He's got some reasonable stats. He only has 2 wounds as he stands normally. The empowered one is 4 wounds, so it's slightly better. He's a reasonable amount of points, but I've got my age-old scenario with this particular character, and maybe a couple of the other characters we're going to look at in the next videos, and that is that the Overlord is still just so good, and where it isn't a special character and you can gear it up however you want, it makes these other special characters, unless you specifically want to use their special abilities, it just makes the Overlord just stand out too much for me. But Overlord, we'll talk about that in the future. I've got to get a couple of other videos out the way first. So next up we're going to look at the Traveller.